Welcome back to the channel, guys, and thank you so much for coming back, hanging out. And yes, what is happening today is we're getting into the 5 tips to break into cyber. So, have you been trying to get into cybersecurity? Have you been trying to improve yourself into that aspect to where you just want to break in? So, I want to talk about some of the steps that I took, some of the paths that I really focus on that got me into cybersecurity and how I had to escalate into this career growth. Because this page, again, is a vlog mainly about my journey, what I've done in the past, and how I can continue to keep improving myself in this career and the journey of it so that I do not get complacent on myself. And that is the biggest thing when you come into this roles is to not get complacent. So if you're interested in those 5 tips, let me know because it's right here. So, have you ever heard before in the past one of your friends or somebody that you've been working with have always been sitting there saying, I just got out of college, can't get a job. I've been working in IT for years and I can't get into cyber. Or, cyber is just a different world. I don't know if I want to go into cyber. I don't know if I want to move into that direction. Well, let me tell you, I got 5 tips for you right here that is going to help you guys out. So, why you should get into cybersecurity? Let's start with number one. Okay, there's so much opportunity for growth. Cybersecurity just has that ability, that opportunity to sit there and give you the growth that you need. It also is probably one of the most secure roles. You have a lot of vendors out there, that refuse to have data that are just shared with other regions of the world. So if you're in a specific country, a lot of times the government sectors, they want to keep everything internal, everything in-house, and they don't want to outsource a majority of cybersecurity to certain areas, especially when you get into the secure roles where you start getting access to certain items, to certain things, and stuff like that. And there are so many different paths to choose from in cybersecurity. You don't have to be IT focused. You could be leadership focused. You could even be project management focused. On top of that, there's sales. There are sales. If you're a good salesman, get into cyber, start selling a cybersecurity solution. Tons of avenues that you could take, tons of paths. There's so many different jobs, guys. When we talk about the actual pass itself, you have basic, core techniques where you get some security essentials, and this is taken directly from SANS, and I'm not affiliated with SANS at all. So a lot of these classes here are going to talk about the SANS path, but this really breaks it down into the best paths that we see that are out there. So you do have the core techniques. You have the natural prevent, defend, maintain, paths that you can take, getting into the monitoring detections, the offensive operations, the incident response, and threat hunting. And you also have security management where you could get into actual management. And then there are some project management, which would be like specialized roles, specialized objectives. So if you want to be like a compliance and auditor, that's not really listed on here, but there are compliance, there's audits, there are other things in sales that isn't really talked about. There's no certifications for sales. You don't really need the certifications for sales, but being able to understand what is going on inside of cyber so you can sell the product that you're selling is going to be critical. So having a fundamental knowledge inside of it would help if you want to choose that sales path and sales career. Outside of that, though, if you focus on a specific role, if you want to be red team, blue team, or even purple team, you really got to break it down into what do you want? Where do you want to be? What do you enjoy? Do you enjoy log analysis or do you enjoy breaking things? Or do you enjoy breaking things and then figuring out how to fix it and piece it back together? Because there's a lot of directions there. Or do you like to lead people and make sure that your security is top notch and top of the line? And have things fall down onto you where you are the leader, where you are enforcing that leadership skills. A lot of people are wondering, where do I start? How do I get into cybersecurity? What avenues do I take? And I hear this a lot. See kids coming out of college, they don't know where to start. what to do, and I'm going to talk about a lot of what I went through and where I improved to actually start itself. So I highly recommend reading knowledge around CompTIA. You don't have to necessarily take the Network Plus or the Security Plus, but you do need to understand the fundamentals that it is teaching you. So there are a lot of fundamentals throughout it, and I did not go to college, but there are a lot of fundamentals that you can learn inside of college that are going to teach you the basic foundations of cybersecurity. And having that basic foundation and being able to apply it to the actual job role itself is what is going to help excel your career into a more successful motivational career that you do have. So when we get into the actual careers itself, you have the CompTIAs, they have new programs. I never took any of these newer programs. If you do want me to take them, let me know in the comments below. I will gladly set up a course where I'm going over that, because you're going to see that in the later modules, where I am focusing right now on the CCSP course that I am studying for that certification. And I am going to be walking through that in the future. But as for now, you do have the pen test, the CYSAs. A lot of these are good starting techniques. Consider the Security Plus, but do not skip out on the Net Plus. I don't know how critical it is for that Network Plus to actually have the ability to understand the network layers, the foundations, and everything that the Network Plus does teach you. The Attack IQ, actually, real quick, the Network Plus, if you do already work in a NOC, you don't really need to take the Network Plus, but if you don't have a network foundation or a background, then I would highly recommend working on the Network Plus. Moving on to Attack IQ, again, I am not affiliated with these guys at all. Any of these guys. So there's no affiliation, and I have to mention that. However, Attack IQ is probably one of the best free learning softwares out there. It is free. You go on, you register. They have course after course after course. And I will post the links in the bottom in the chat for you guys to learn, get on there and start working through. But there's so much material, so much content on there, guys. It talks about threat hunting, compliance, SOC. It's like a brand new cyber area that's out there, and it's just so new that it's free. Like back when I was gonna start, I remember when cyber area was coming through in the email with the recorded future alerts, and that was coming through in email, and they just looked like the most suspicious pages you could ever see in your life, with those videos teaching you about like the weirdest VMO videos that you could ever see in your life. It was just the sketchiest pages that you could ever find. But hey, it was good material on it, and I thought half of it was a scam. I clicked onto it and I watched it. I actually think I have it downloaded somewhere on some USB drive. But Attack IQ, it's reminding me of those old cyber area vibes. So, another place on where to start after you start, looking for like SOC roles and getting into the SOC roles, you want to start looking at the SSCP. The SSCP it's a great foundation. You only need a year's worth of experience of education, but the SSCP, it's great when you're trying to improve your career, and it's one of the cheaper certifications that you should really look into and really take, because it is piggybacks off your bachelor's degree. If you already have a bachelor's degree or a degree in cybersecurity, they will overlook the 1-year requirement. So if you're just coming out of college, get this certification, guys. It's going to help past recruiters, HR, the whole 9 yards. Put hands down, study, do what you got to do to get this done, because this is where you need to be. So get that SSCP, then you could look into moving, to the CCSP, which requires 5 years of experience and other things. But I highly recommend the SSCP after you start applying for SOC roles. And yes, I know I am saying SOC roles. I know that those roles do not pay. Trust me. Okay, trust me. We will talk about that. So moving into the SOC roles, like I said, I know they're just ticket guys, ticket girls that are just banging out tickets. Ticket. It's terrible, but I've been there. I started in IT working, just software updates on computers. Installing antivirus. At the time it was Symantec, running Symantec Ghost. It was back in the day where things were just wild. We had T1 connections and everything, and there was a lot of things that I just hated. I hated doing it. It was terrible. I didn't want to continue. I didn't want to push through it. But you gotta embrace the climb. So from there, I moved into doing an actual ticket, or I worked for an ISP where I was actually taking phone calls from customers. Customers of the ISP, not customers like vendors, but like actual customers. I was working in there making, at the time it was $20 an hour, which was pretty decent for an IT job. It wasn't the greatest, but it was good. So I was in there just grinding out the phone calls, and it was like reset your modem, and that was the task, and it was terrible, but it was experience. And inside that company, I was able to pivot into a knock role that did allow me to actually learn more about network fundamentals, LDAP, and a lot of the voice calls that are happening inside of there. So I took the knock roles, worked that for a while, and then moving from the knock on, I was able to get into the SOC, which was again just ticket monkey jobs and stuff like that. Just ticket gurus, passing off ticket after ticket after ticket. So, yeah, I highly recommend getting into the SOC roles, taking the experience, eating the stress that it gives you, and just work it through. Do the SOC roles. Nobody wants to, but just do it. It's not that bad. It's spend a year, but don't get stuck. Do not get stuck, because if you get stuck in these roles, you're gonna be there forever. And that is why I'm doing this. Do not get complacent in where you are. Push through and get through it, guys. So I hope this helps you in terms of the actual video itself. I hope this helps you improve where you want to be. And I hope these tips are what you need to improve your career. But again, I'll post the links in the chat in the comments below in the details. So go down there, read it, and you'll see the links to the Attack IQ and Academy IQ and other things that you need. Other than that, thank you for watching. Enjoy.